the M2 MacBook Air. It was released last year at WWDC, and it is the latest. Well, the 15-inch MacBook Air is the latest, but that's just the bigger version of this. So besides from that, this is the latest implementation of the MacBook Air. Now, I just want you to keep in mind, this is not my laptop. This is actually my mother's laptop. She is allowing me to do a review on it for you guys, so thanks, Mum. And we actually got this at the Apple Store yesterday because she needed a new laptop, and we chose this, and it's pretty good. Now, she's still learning how to use this thing because she's been a Windows user her entire life, and she wanted to try something different, so she got a Mac. She just bit the bullet, got a MacBook, and she likes it quite a bit. She's used it all day today. She used it yesterday. She set it up yesterday. Now let me just shut up about stuff you don't care about and get into the review. Starting off is the design. This MacBook has a very nice design, and it's probably one of my favorite designed Apple laptops. The M2 MacBook Air is just kind of like a flat, boxy design and doesn't have the tapered edge. On the left side, we have the MagSafe charging, 2 USB-C ports, and on the right side, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, it's also very thin. I think it's something like 11 millimeters thin, and it's pretty light. I think it's just over a kilogram. I'm not sure the exact measurements. I'll put them up on screen here. I haven't really researched the weight of the MacBook Air. But yeah, that's the design. Also, my mum got it in the Starlight color because she found it looks better than silver. On some angles, it actually looks kind of pinkish, which it's a pretty nice color. Now, on the inside of the laptop, you have the force click trackpad. It also has the Magic Keyboard, which I will say the Magic Keyboard is very nice. It also has Touch ID, which is very quick. So you don't even need to turn the laptop. You just rest your finger on the Touch ID and then you're in. Now, the display on this thing is absolutely fantastic. It is a 13.6-inch liquid retina, and it looks very nice. Like it's very sharp. It's very colorful, especially for an LED panel, and it just looks overall really nice. It's 60 hertz, which normal people probably don't really care about, but it gets the job done really well. Since we're on the topic of the display, at the top of the display, you will see the notch with the webcam in it. Right now, you are looking at the footage of the M2 MacBook Air 1080p camera. Now, I have pretty good lighting in the room. I have the light turned on, and I have a ring light right in front of me. And it seems to get the job done pretty well if you have good lighting conditions. But it is a little bit grainy around here. But overall, the 1080p camera does look pretty decent, and the microphones are pretty good as well. Now, it's not really a good camera per se, but for video calling, it gets the job done pretty well. This is the M2 MacBook Air, and I'm not going to go in depth about the cores and crap because I know you guys don't care about that. I'm just going to say it is pretty quick. It is very quick. Now, this is the 8GB of RAM model with 256GB of storage, and I have heard a lot of people saying not to buy the base model because of the issue with the base model storage being a lot slower than the M1 was. I haven't ran into the issue. My mum hasn't ran into the issue, so it's fine. The 8GB of RAM, I have heard people saying get the 16GB or the 24GB of memory because apparently it does slow down, but having apps like Safari open and having a bunch of Safari tabs open, maybe playing some videos, doing some other stuff, the laptop hasn't slowed down. My mum hasn't reported any slowdowns or just freezes in general, so you don't really need to worry about it too much unless you're like a very professional user and you're dragging files all over the desktop and you're just constantly doing file transfers. Maybe you'll notice the slower data transfer speeds. So if you're that person, maybe get the 512GB model. But the SSD, the regular person like my mother using this for study won't notice. And let me just say, this thing flies through Final Cut. It flies through it. The MacBook Pro is like the Final Cut machine. But if you need to do video editing, let me just say, I'm probably editing this video on the MacBook right now. This thing flies through Final Cut. There's no lag when going through the timeline. You can just drag clips in. It doesn't slow down unless you have a bunch of effects on it. It's great. Now let's get to the question. Should you buy this MacBook in 2023 or wait till the possible M3 MacBook Air that'll come out whenever it comes out. Mum chose this over the M1 because, now let me just say, the M1 MacBook Air is still a fantastic machine. That thing still has great specs, has a faster SSD than this, and it's a lot cheaper. It's like, this is very expensive. Now this thing costs about $1,800 in Australia, which is a lot, considering you're only getting 8 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of storage. But it's pretty good. And like, I would recommend most of you to go off the M1 MacBook Air because that actually has a faster SSD, and you won't really notice a lot of slowdowns if you're going about day-to-day stuff. But my mum got this because she wants a MacBook with like long software support, because the M1 MacBook Air is about 3 years old now, and that's going to drop software support before this one does. So she just wants the longest software support possible. At the moment, she seems to be enjoying this laptop, and she hasn't noticed any slowdown. So I think if you're like my mum, studying in university, and just wants to do basic web browsing when you're not, video conferencing, PowerPoint, Word, stuff like that, this is a fantastic laptop. And I'm sure the people that buy this laptop will love it, because my mum does. Anyways, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.